Which of the following is correctly matched with this example? Oligoketa, leech. Leech is Hirudinea. Leech is Hirudinea. Easy to remember because it produces an anticoagulant. Leech you have to remember for its anticoagulant. Not only for what it does, for its utility in treatment. Leech is used as a tool for treatment of swollen abscesses and all. Brain abscesses, leech is used. To remove blood clots under the skin, leech is used. Okay? It is better than opening it up. So leech produces hirudin. Hirudin is a very potent anticoagulant. Anticoagulant plus hirudin is an anesthetic anticoagulant. You know what, you will not know when leech bites, it will be sucking your blood, but you will not even realize that leech is sticking to your foot or whatever it is. Have you seen this movie, Onion? The hero will have a split personality. He is against corruption. Aparichitu. Aparichit in Hindi. Originally is Tamil. Onion got dubbed into Telugu Aparichit, dubbed into Hindi Aparichit. In that there is leech treatment, no? For one of the villains. So 1A is wrong. Leech is Hirudinea. Insecta, spider. Spider is arachnid. Cephalopoda, tusk shell. Cephalopoda, tusk shell. Tusk shell is scaphopoda. Cephalopods are what? Snails. Crustacea, prawn. Prawn is crustacean. Okay. Which of the following is wrongly matched? Myosin contractile protein. Is it wrongly matched or rightly matched? Myosin is contractile protein. It is correct. Troponin is fibrous protein. Is it correct? Troponin is a regulatory protein. It controls the, it is globular. It is not fibrous, but what is its function? It regulates the masking and unmasking of the troponin binding site, the calcium binding site. Actin thin filament protein, correct. Collagen structural protein, that is also correct. Phallic gland of cockroach mainly helps in. Phallic gland is present in which cockroach? Male or female cockroach? Phallic gland. Male cockroach, what does it help in? It helps in the formation of the spermatophore. Okay. Spermatophore is the place where sperms are stored. Storage of sperms. So spermatophore wall formation. So what all does the male reproductive system in cockroach has? Testis, vas deferens, ejaculatory duct and phallic duct. Testis, vas deferens, ejaculatory duct and phallic ducts. These are the four. In the mouth parts of cockroach, the galea and lecinia form parts of the galea and lecinia are parts of the maxilla. Maxilla, mandible, labium and labrum are the mouth parts. Lingua is also mouth part. Labium is lower lip, labrum is upper lip, maxilla is upper jaw, mandible is lower jaw. Function for chewing. What is the mouth part type? What is the type of mouth part cockroach has? Chewing and biting type. Can cockroach bite human beings? Can it? The question is not will it, can it? If you smear some cockroach food on your fingertips and sleep, something that attracts cockroach on your fingertips and sleep, will it come and bite it? No? Why not? It has a biting type of mouth part. It will come and still bite it. Cockroaches do bite. Cockroaches do bite you, not. It is not like a dog bite where you will realize it or feel that pain, but it can bite. Have you seen those pedicure fishes? Pedicure fish. What is pedicure? Whatever dressing you do for your feet. Pedicure. Cut the nails, trim the nails, file the nails, clean the nails, clean the foot, remove all the whatever dead cells, and charge 2,000 rupees, which you can do at home. I don't want to comment on that. Many people do that. I personally feel pretty whenever I go for a haircut. But the salon guy asked me, sir, do you want a facial? For what? Detanning, sir. Can I go in the sun after that? No, sir, you should avoid sun. I have to go in the sun. What is the point? If it was my marriage today, I would have got a facial. Now, what is the mouth part of housefly? What is the kind of mouth part of housefly? It's like this. What does it do? Sponging. Mouth part of housefly is sponging type. It is sponging type. What is the mouth part of butterfly? Siphoning type, sucking type or siphon type. Phallomere word is related to cockroach for what? Developing ova, bundle of sperms, external genitalia, opening of ejaculatory duct. Phallomere is external genitalia. Phallomere in cockroach is external genitalia. Okay. 141 skip. 142. Okay. Which one of the following classes is not correctly matched? Vitamin B6 deficiency, loss of appetite. Is it correct? Vitamin B6, loss of appetite is correct. Vitamin B1, beriberi. Is it right? Yes. B2, pellagra. Is it right? Is it right? B3, deficiency of B3 or niacin causes pellagra. Pellagra is 3D disease. What is 3D disease? Pellagra is 3D disease. What is 3D disease? Diarrhea is one. Yes, I also forgot this. B12 is pernicious anemia, correct. B12 is also associated with one more. B12 and one more is vitamin is essential for maturation of RBC. Which is the other vitamin essential for maturation of RBC? Dementia, diarrhea, dermatitis. Pellagra. Dementia is loss of memory. Diarrhea, dermatitis, skin inflammation. So have you noticed these things also? Some people will start developing angular cheilitis. Angular cheilitis, that is also B complex deficiency. Oral ulcers, mouth ulcers, mucosal degradation, mucosal rupture, vitamin B12, vitamin B complex deficiency. B2, B6, these are all essential for maintaining the integrity of soft mucosa. Alright. 3D is diarrhea, dementia, and dermatitis. If it becomes severe, 4th D is also there. Death. Possible. It can lead to death also. Alright. Pernicious anemia. Pernicious anemia is what? Pernicious nature is reference to something else. Anemia is what type of anemia here in vitamin B12 deficiency? It is megaloblastic anemia. What is megaloblast? What are megaloblasts? RBCs become big. They don't become big, they don't become small. RBCs, when they are produced from the stem cells, are big only. They are big in size, they have a nucleus, they are not biconcave shaped. But as they mature, they lose the nucleus, they become biconcave shape and they become small, discoid, like a disc. That process requires vitamin B12 and folic acid. Vitamin B12 and folic acid. Alright? Without that, RBCs will become big, they will become megaloblast. 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 Meaning bigger, immature RBC. Blast means immature RBC. Erythroblast. Erythroblast is an immature RBC again. Erythroblastosis fetalis. Why erythroblastosis? Erythroblasts increase in the blood. Why does it increase in blood? Because of antigen-antibody mismatch, RBCs are being destroyed. There is a demand for more RBCs to be produced. Not enough time is given for the maturation of RBC. Immature RBCs come into the circulation. That is why you will find more of erythroblasts in erythroblastosis fetalis. Where is it? Hemolytic disease of the newborn. Similarly here, without vitamin B12 and folic acid, RBCs will not mature, making them, which leads to them remaining bigger in size. Why will it lead to anemia? Bigger size RBCs cannot pass through the reticuloendothelial system, which is the network of very small thin capillaries. When they are not able to squeeze through these capillaries, they can rupture. So in megaloblastic anemia, in pernicious anemia, there can be jaundice also because too much of RBCs are being destroyed, ruptured. One of the reasons for hemolytic anemia can be, hemolytic jaundice can be megaloblastic anemia, pernicious anemia. Why pernicious? Pernicious means what? Pernicious is a reference to the myelin sheath of the neurons being degraded. Vitamin B12 is required for maintaining the myelin sheath and for adequate myelination of neurons. If vitamin B12 deficiency is there, that can lead to myelin sheath erosion, making the neurons susceptible for more irritability. The neurons are irritated means there will be a lot of symptoms proportionate to that, corresponding to that. Understand? So vitamin B12 is very important. Vitamin B12 and vitamin folic acid. Folic acid is a chemical. Vitamin-like chemical, don't give it a particular number for it. None of the, see, all the fat-soluble vitamins have stores in the body. You will not immediately see the symptoms of deficiency. A, D, E, K are fat-soluble vitamins. They are stored in the adipose tissue. They are stored in the adipose tissue, they are stored in the liver fat also. So even if there is a period of non-availability of A, D, E, K, you will not start showing symptoms. If you are showing deficiency symptoms of fat-soluble vitamins, it means that you have not given it for a very long time. You have not supplied these vitamins for a long time. That is not the case with B-complex vitamins. Vitamin B-complex and C are water-soluble. There are no stores for this, very minimal stores. So you don't supply it for 2 to 3 weeks, you will start showing symptoms. Sorry. To remember, I had told you in the beginning, supplementation, micronutrient supplementation you should take, vitamin B complex and C regularly. Take it for 10 days in a month, or you can take it alternate days. Every alternate day you can take one vitamin supplement. So that is kind of filling up the stores, whatever is coming in your diet also, plus alternate day vitamin supplementation, therapeutic doses, will keep the vitamin levels adequate, so that you don't go into deficiency. You are what you eat, it is undisputed. Okay, physically, intellectually, socially, financially, emotionally, all this. Physically, intellectually to understood. How socially? Your social interaction depends on, your social positioning depends on how well you interact with people. That depends on how sorted your brain is. That depends on how it is nurtured. That depends on how the nutrients are supplied. That depends on what you eat. Alright. And that will influence how well you can earn money. If you are not a sorted person, if you are a person who is irritable, always agitated, lethargic, sleeping during the daytime, during work, not being able to complete tasks, not being disciplined, committed, your opportunities will go down. your earning is proportionate to your opportunities and delivering on the opportunities that you get. You get the opportunities, you don't deliver, you will lose more. Right. Eat well, eat right. So which one is wrongly matched? Pellagra. B2, pellagra is wrongly matched. It is niacin. B3 is pellagra. Next, the purplish red pigment contained in the rod type photoreceptor cells of the human eye is a derivative of out of syllabus question. In silicosis, still you tell me please. What is the purplish red pigment in the rod? Rhodopsin, or it's also called visual purple. It is derived from what? Vitamin A. Vitamin A. If that was within the syllabus, it had so much opportunity to tell you why suddenly you will feel blacked out when you enter the theatre. And even if it is dark, within a few minutes you will start seeing everything that is inside the theatre, even in darkness. But what to do? If I start explaining questions which are out of syllabus, the stare that comes from some of you. Scary. Okay. You have to be very careful with youngsters. No? They are the future of the country, not just that. They are the present of the teacher also. So no government dares to take on the youngsters. Every government, everybody in power, everybody in any position wants all the youngsters to be with them. Fortunately, youngsters have not yet understood how to take advantage of that. By the time you realize how to take advantage of being young, from the power circles, you would have been on you would be on the other side of the spectrum, where you want to give opportunities for the youngsters to take advantage of the take advantage of being young. But they don't realize that. By the time they realize that, they are there. What to do? Okay, in silicosis, silica particles accumulate in lung alveoli and the particles are ingested by macrophages. Find the odd one out. When macrophages die, inflammatory reaction is caused. Fibrosis develops. Tumor is formed. There is right-sided heart failure. What happens in silicosis? Which is the odd one? Can silicosis lead to tumor? Silicosis is what? See, all these pneumoconiosis or occupational lung disorders, silicosis, asbestosis, bagasosis, bisonosis, all of these does what? The calcium dust that goes into the lungs when you ingest the chalk dust, when you inhale the chalk dust, also can lead to inflammatory lung disorders eventually going forward in life. So many teachers of yesteryears, teachers who used to use chalk, earlier the chalk used to be of dust kind, dustless chalk were not available. So inhaling that dust, chalk dust, in their late 50s, 60s, as they move ahead in their life, they would develop respiratory disorders, obstructive disorders, inflammatory disorders. So the classroom is shifting towards, the classrooms are shifting towards dust-free classrooms. So no blackboards. These boards are going out. White boards. And these white boards will have to be written on using these pens, which have other type of chemicals. Bring in digital boards, that will cause digital hooking and eye strain. So what is the solution? Shut down schools. Okay. Tumor is not directly formed, all other things happen. Macrophages die. Macrophages would have taken these particles it cannot digest it or it cannot break it down. These particles remain within macrophages. When the macrophages die, this is again released. Another macrophage catches hold of it. So repeated cycles of inflammation happens by the same particles. The same silica particle causes inflammation, macrophages goes and takes it. Macrophage die, other particles, what happens if it is some infection? Macrophage takes it, destroys it, it is cleared off. When macrophage dies, that will not trigger another cycle of inflammation, but these particles will create repeated cycles of inflammation. Even if you are not, even if you have come out of the environment which has these particles, still continues to do that. So over a period of time, continuous inflammation or periodic inflammation, repeated inflammation will lead to the lung tissue becoming fibrotic. Depositions will happen, it becomes fibrotic and causes lung collapse. Not lung collapse, obstruction. Except tumor, all the others are consequences. Why right-sided heart failure? Why right-sided heart failure? Silicosis. Why lung disorders, chronic lung disorders or chronic pulmonary disorders can lead to heart failure? Why? That to right-side heart failure. Blood from the right side of the heart has to be pumped into pulmonary circulation. Constant inflammation of the lungs will lead to increase in the pressure within the pulmonary vascular tree. Within the pulmonary vasculature, there is narrowing of the vessels causing increased pressure. That means what? Right side of the heart will be forced to pump blood at a higher pressure than it is supposed to pump, or than it is pumping, than it can pump normally. So when you are making the heart work more than what it is designed to work on a continuous basis, heart eventually will give up and leads to cardiac failure. Smoking is such a dangerous thing. Apart from cancer and all, cancer is there, but heart failure, lungs and heart is always connected to each other. Lung problem can lead to heart problem can lead to lung problem. So cardiopulmonary system you call it. Heart and the lungs together is one system in itself, cardiopulmonary system. Next, the urge to inhale in humans result from rising PCO2, rising PO2. Okay, this is discussed already. Rising PCO2. Where are the chemoreceptors for this? Where are the chemoreceptors for PCO2? Aortic arch and carotid bodies. Carotid bodies in the carotid arteries. Aortic arch has aortic bodies. Where is the center for detecting the carbon dioxide levels? Medulla. What do you call it when there is high levels of carbon dioxide in the blood? What do you call it? Capnia. Hypercapnia is increased carbon dioxide. So breath holding will cause what? Hypercapnia. Hypercapnia is sensed by the aortic body and carotid body, triggering the medullary respiratory center, which will give that powerful signal to your respiratory muscles to just let go and breathe. You cannot hold your breath at your will. You can hold it for a while, and once the force to release it comes, you cannot hold it. You have to release it. The automatic control takes over. Lower level of carbon dioxide is called hypocapnia. Apnea is stoppage of breathing. Breathing stops is apnea. No breathing is apnea. Hypopnea is decreased in breathing rate. Hyperpnea is increased breathing rate. Hyperventilation is hyperpnea. Decreased ventilation is hypopnea. Apnea, all of this is related to breathing. Perfect. What is decreased oxygenation of blood? Low oxygen PO2. What do you call it? Huh? What do you call it? Hypoxia. Hypoxia. These simple terms, these are simple terms. Just hypo, hyper, you know. Hypo means something lesser. Okay. Urea. If something ends in urea, means in urine. Hematuria means what? Hematuria means what? Huh? Blood in urine. Microalbuminuria. Albumin in urine. Microalbumin in urine. Okay. Emia means emia. E-M-I-A. Uremia means what? Emia. If it ends in emia, it means in blood. Okay. Uremia. Increased urea in blood. Bilirubinemia. Hyperbilirubinemia. Increased bilirubin in blood. Bilirubinuria. Hyperbilirubinuria. Increased bilirubin in urine. That's all. Biology is easy if you understand this. These are like thumb rules, guiding principles. Every term has some meaning. It is meaningful. So you need to understand the basics of the language. What language is this? Latin and Greek mostly. Mostly Latin. Why Latin is used as the language for scientific terms? Dead language. Nobody speaks it. So nobody will have a problem. If there are 10 parties fighting for the Prime Minister's post in a coalition, you bring one person from an 11th party which is totally insignificant and make him the Prime Minister. So none of the parties will feel sad because none of their opponents who are competitors have got the Prime Minister's post. Am I referring to anybody? I am just giving you a general example. If there is any reference to anybody, it is purely coincidental and it is not intentional. Disclaimers have to be given, whether in writing or in camera. Read the following statements and select the correct one. The hydrogen ion released from carbonic acid combines with hemoglobin to form hemoglobinic acid. Oxyhemoglobin of erythrocytes is alkaline. More than 70% of carbon dioxide is transferred from tissue to lungs in the form of carbamino compounds. What should we do? Select the correct one. In lungs, oxygen from the alveolus reaches the blood through active transport. Which one is definitely wrong? Three statements are clearly wrong. Which one do you want to choose? Okay, we'll go one by one. Okay. Hydrogen ion released from carbonic acid combines with hemoglobin to form hemoglobinic acid. True or false? Shift or hamburger phenomenon, you should remember. Okay. Then oxyhemoglobin curve. Oxyhemoglobin dissociation curve. What does it mean when there is a rightward shift? What does it mean when there is a leftward shift? That's all. Rightward shift of oxyhemoglobin dissociation curve indicates dash of oxygen demand. Increase or decrease? Rightward shift. Increase of oxygen demand. Leftward shift indicates decrease of oxygen demand. The opening of the post-cable vein in the heart of man is guarded by. The opening of the post-cable vein in the heart of man is guarded by semilunar valve, bicuspid valve, tricuspid valve, eustachian valve. What is post-cable vein? Post-cable vein is inferior vena cava later. What becomes inferior vena cava is the post-cable vein. So it has a valve called eustachian valve during the fetal life. Alright, that opens into the right atrium. Right atrium. So there is an opening, there is a connection between the right and left atrium in fetuses. What do you call that correction? Foramen ovale. That is foramen ovale. The foramen ovale will get closed by the time the child is born. If foramen ovale continues to remain patent, there will be mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated, leading to oxygenation defects. Treatable medically, if it is not corrected by even till the age of 5 years, it will be corrected surgically. So patent ductus arteriosus, you call it, patent ductus arteriosus, foramen ovale covers that. Cardiac output is what? Pulse rate into stroke volume into heart rate, stroke volume into blood volume, heart rate into pulse rate. What is correct? Heart rate and pulse rate, is it not the same? Heart rate and pulse rate, is it not the same? The pulse that you feel is the reflection of the heartbeat only. When the ventricles go into contraction, that is when blood is pushed into the arteries. That is what you feel in the pulse. The upward lifting of the artery that you palpate is because of systole. When it goes down, it is diastole, up and down, up and down. Every pulse is a cardiac heart rate reflected, heartbeat reflected. So stroke volume into pulse rate, stroke volume into heart rate. What do you choose? What do you choose? Do you want to choose something which is the effect, or do you want to choose something which is a consequence? Effect. If you have an option to buy from a wholesaler or a retailer, who will you buy it from? The same product. Wholesaler. Whenever there is an option to go to the source, go to the source. Stroke volume into heart rate. What do you call it when the heart is enlarged? When the heart enlarges, when the heart becomes bigger, what do you call it? People tell you have a big heart. What is it technically? Big heart is what? What is the term for that? Give me some terms to refer to big. Give me some terms which refers to big. We already saw that in one of the questions related to RBC and B12. Megaloblast. What is the term referring to big? Mega. Megaly means becoming big. So what do you call it when the heart becomes big? Megacardia. Okay, reverse it. Cardio mega. Cardio megaly. Cardio mega sounds like, doesn't sound good. It should be like megaly, enlargement. Megaly is an attribute. Mega is it an adjective or a, no, it's an adjective. Let's not go there. Cardiomegaly. What do you call it when the spleen becomes big? Spleen also enlarges, no? In cancer, there is spleen enlargement. In HIV infection, there is spleen enlargement. What do you call it? Huh? Splenomegaly sounds like two words. Make it one word. Splenomegaly. Okay. What do you call it when liver enlarges? Liver. You are not bringing out sound. You are not moving your lips also enough. so that I can read your lips and find out what you are saying. Liver enlargement, what do you call it? Come on, come on. Hepatomegaly, that's all. That's all. Cardiomegaly. Now, can cardiomegaly be physiological? In pulmonary diseases, cardiomegaly happens. Heart becomes enlarged because of constant pressure. Can it be physiological and healthy? Cardiomegaly is seen in professional athletes, people who have been athletic for a very long period of time. They are constantly training. If you do fitness training, constantly you do fitness training for many, many years, heart enlarges, heart becomes bigger. This is not abnormal, this is normal. Now when heart becomes bigger, stroke volume becomes much more. Stroke volume will be more than 70 ml. It will be 85-90 ml stroke volume. What does that mean? What does that mean? During rest, if you have to supply about 5 liters of blood to the circulation, you don't have to beat 70 times. If your stroke volume is more, heart rate can be less. Now the upper limit of how many times the heart can beat is more or less fixed for everybody. Like 120 to 130 beats per minute during intense activity is sustainable. If the heartbeat becomes 140, 150 beats per minute, it can lead to cardiac rupture. Heart can just burst out. So 120, 130 beats per minute. In those 120, 130 beats, how much of volume of blood you can pump determines how intense you can do physical activity. Your ability to do physical. Your intensity of activity will be determined by how well you can regulate your heartbeat. For that you have to increase your stroke volume. So, your ability to, just add this please. Hello? Not very good. This is fuel buddy. We have 3 buses in our school. So we buy fuel through a service called Fuel Buddy. They bring the fuel truck and load the buses to prevent drivers from stealing money. Our drivers used to take off 1,000 rupees every time. They will get bill for 6,000 rupees, fuel for 5,000 rupees. So we have been able to reduce 3,000 rupees expenditure every week. I have to change that number. I have to make somebody else's number. So what I am telling is, what was it? Heart, cardiomegaly. So training makes you more endurance training is that making your heart beat lesser to supply the same volume of blood. So that is what exercise does. You run, you do aerobic exercises, training the heart to become more responsive and more optimized its pumping. Arrhythmia is irregular heartbeats. Arrhythmia, rhythm. Rhythm is regularity. Something which is in regularity is rhythm. Arrhythm is abnormal rhythm. Arrhythmia is heartbeat is abnormal. It is indicated in ECG by this is a kind of a more than necessary, but remember arrhythmia can be identified by inverted P waves or missing P waves. If you have some P waves missing in one wave, you find a P wave, another wave you miss a P wave, missing P waves is an indication of arrhythmia. Missing P waves or inverted P waves. Loop of Henle in mammals is a special place of urea absorption, place of sodium and potassium absorption, special place of ammonia absorption, special place of conservation and balance of water. What is the loop of Henle in mammals? It is for conservation and balance of water. Again, whenever you think about loop of Henle, descending loop is permeable to water, impermeable to electrolytes. Ascending loop is permeable to electrolytes, impermeable to water. This is the most commonly explored question in exams. After ultrafiltration, glucose is reabsorbed from. Most of the essential nutrients are reabsorbed from proximal convoluted tubule, PCT. Most absorption, even most of the electrolyte absorption also happens in PCT only. Henle's loop is for bringing about a balance, just to push back more of water. Bring about a balance in water and electrolytes. DCT is for final balance in concentration. And if there is something else which has to be excreted, that will be excreted, toxins. Which of the following is purely a motor nerve? Vagus, olfactory, abducens, trigeminal. Vagus, olfactory, abducens, trigeminal. I have a shortcut to remember that. Do you remember the shortcut for remembering the sequence of nerves? Huh? On old Olympus, tiny tops, a Finn and German, viewed some hops. Write it down first. I'll give you the shortcut for remembering motor and sensory also. Write it down like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or we make it 2 columns. 1 to 6 and 8 to 12. This one table will help you remember many things about nerves. 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12. On old Olympus, tiny tops, a Finn and German viewed some hops. Alright, this is for the names of the cranial nerve. Some say money matters. But my brother says big brains matter more. Alright. S is sensory, M is motor, P is both sensory and motor. Okay? Easy, no? Some say money matters, but my brother says big brains matter more. This is this brother is somebody who doesn't have understanding of real life. Okay? He might be a researcher in some lab. Okay? You should, unstated corollary of this you should keep in mind. My teacher says, if you have big brains, you should also have the common sense to make big money. Right? And use it for good. The biggest problem for people to remain in poverty is considering that money is bad. And it is only bad people who will have big money. That is the biggest problem of people who don't earn enough money. When you say money is evil, and only evil people can make money, your mind says you are not evil, so you should not make money. It will make you kick all opportunities which will give you a chance to earn money. The moment there is some possibility of earning big money, your mind will make you run away from that, or it will make you do stupid things by which you lose those opportunities. It's this. Right. Don't crib when you are in problems, but don't seek to be in problem, because it gives a good narrative. Social media. You see all those reality shows that comes. If you are to be on the reality show, you need to have a story like, I was like this, so much explore. And while talking, you should cry a little bit. Somebody should come and tell another part of your sad story. Let there be sad stories, no problem. But don't enjoy that. Don't claim to be that. Try to get out of it. Okay. All stupid ideas being loaded into brain. Trust me, none of the people who earn a lot of money say poverty is good. They will tell this to people who don't have money to make them not aspire to do big things in life. If I make you aspirational, you will be my competition. No? I want you to be my customer, not my competition. So I don't want you to believe that you can do what I am doing. What is this? So, now you know the names of the nerves, no? Olfactory, optic, oculomotor, trochlear, trigeminal, abducens, facial, auditory, or it's also called vestibulocochlear, glossopharyngeal, vagus, spinal accessory, hypoglossal. Okay? You can write one more for the actual names of the nerves. Because this is a horizontal board, I have written in multiple columns. You can just make it in 3 columns. The name of the nerve, the number of the nerve, mnemonic to remember the name, mnemonic to remember the nature of the nerve, and the name, actual name. However you want to give it. Alright? Next question. Now tell me which of the following is purely a motor nerve. Don't look at the options. You tell me pure motor nerves, the names of pure motor nerves. Don't look at the board also. In your mind you should fix it. Tell it. Some say money matters 3-4. But my 3-4-6. Brother says I don't know 11-12. 3-4-6, 11-12 are exclusively motor. So which are the exclusive motor nerves? Oculomotor, trochlea, lupus, abducens, spinal accessory, hypoglossal. These are the exclusively motor nerves. So you just have to write down the mnemonic number. You don't even have to write the complete mnemonic. 1 to 12 you write numbers. Just write the first alphabet of the mnemonic for each of the corresponding numbers. Then correlate quickly which is what. Let there be any question on the name of the nerve, whichever the nerve is, motor component, spinal sensory component, mixed component. This much will help you answer many questions related to cranial nerves. Anterior choroid plexus secretes cerebrospinal fluid in. Anterior choroid plexus secretes cerebrospinal fluid in what? First ventricle, second ventricle, third ventricle, fourth ventricle. See, there are, you consider it this way. Lateral ventricles, third ventricle, fourth ventricle. This is the ventricular system. What is the ventricular system for? For spinal cord. Spinal cord. So what do you have inside this? You have the choroid plexus. Choroid plexus. Choroid plexus will have what type of cells? Neuroglial cells. We have seen that. Which neuroglial cell will produce cerebrospinal fluid? Ependymal cells. So this choroid plexus will be inside these ventricles. These are called lateral ventricles. This is ventricle 1, ventricle 2, ventricle 3, ventricle 4. Now from here when it exits, it goes around the brain between the pyometer and the arachnoid mater. It goes between the pyometer and the arachnoid mater, and it goes into the spinal cord, around the spinal cord also. This one, the one branch goes around the spinal cord. That's all. Okay, this is the cerebrospinal fluid production. So the cerebrospinal fluid throughout the central nervous system is in between the pyometer and the arachnoid mater. There are 3 layers of covering for the brain and spinal cord. The outermost tough covering is dura mater. It will protect the brain from impact. So it will take the first impact. Then impact, if the impact is passed on further, after dura mater you have arachnoid mater. Arachnoid mater, which has a lot of blood supply and all that. It is like a network of blood vessels. And between the arachnoid mater and the pyometer, you have the cerebrospinal fluid. Cerebrospinal fluid. Pyometer is closely attached to this. Cerebrospinal fluid is around the brain and the spinal cord throughout. Now this will help in keeping the brain and the spinal cord cool, helps in temperature reduction. High metabolic activity is going on in the brain and spinal cord. Brain has super high metabolism. So keep it cool, helps in quick exchange of material, electrolyte balance, movement of so many materials happening. So it is produced within the brain. Lateral ventricles, third ventricle, fourth ventricle, circulation. Okay. Just remember there are 4 ventricles. Okay. Anterior choroid plexus is third ventricle. Third ventricle. Third ventricle is the major CSF producing part. So it provides cushioning, nutrient transport, waste removal and all that. If there is meningitis, meningitis is the inflammation of the meninges. How do we find out whether there is meningitis? You will put a needle into the space between into the subdural space. Subdural space is under the durameter where there is cerebrospinal fluid. Collect a sample of cerebrospinal fluid and subject that cerebrospinal fluid to analysis, where you can find out the turbidity. If the cerebrospinal fluid is turbid, you can find out the glucose content of that, bacterial growth in that, inflammatory mediators. By the cerebrospinal fluid analysis, you can find out whether there is inflammation of the meninges or not. In the cerebral hemispheres, dash is present between parietal and temporal lobes. These are all too much beyond what you have to know. This is going too much into the brain anatomy. Central sulcus, lateral sulcus, parieto-occipital sulcus, ventral sulcus. Sulcus and gyrus. It's okay. This is okay. Sulcus is what? The depression that you find in the brain. You have multiple lobes. In between you have a depression, no? When you draw, you write the depression. Gyrus is the bulged part of the brain. Gyrus is the bulged part of the brain. That is gyrus. The depression is the sulcus. So between the parietal and temporal lobes, what do you have? Where is parietal lobe? Where is parietal lobe? This is the parietal lobe. This is frontal, parietal, temporal and occipital. So between the frontal and the parietal lobes you have the central sulcus. This is frontal lobe. These two are parietal lobes. Here. You place your hand like this. This is parietal lobe. You place your hand like this, frontal lobe. Between this and the parietal lobes, you have the central sulcus. This is the central sulcus. Okay. Then parietal lobe and occipital lobes. Here in the back side, it is parieto-occipital sulcus. Between the parietal lobe and the temporal lobe, where is this sulcus? This sulcus is on the lateral side of the brain. So it is lateral sulcus. There is no ventral sulcus in the brain anatomy. Okay. So between the parietal and the temporal lobe, here it is the lateral sulcus. Here it is the central sulcus. Like you take a cut here in the center of the brain. That separates the frontal lobe and the parietal lobes. Parietal lobes and the occipital lobe is separated by parieto hormone, molting and metamorphosis. Juvenile hormone inhibits metamorphosis. Brain hormone controls the secretion of ecdysone. PTTH stimulates prothoracic gland to release ecdysone. So PTTH, prothoracic gland, releases ecdysone. Brain hormone will stimulate the secretion. Prothoracotropic hormone will bring about release. Secretion brain hormone, release PTTH, release from the thoracic gland, prothoracic gland. Comparison of statement A and B. Blood sugar level falls rapidly after hepatectomy. Blood sugar level falls rapidly after hepatectomy. Okay. Statement B. Glycogen of the liver is the principal source of blood sugar. Glycogen in the liver is the principal source of blood sugar. Now tell me, are the statements correct? Are the statements correct? Or one of them correct, one of them wrong, both of them wrong? What is hepatectomy? Removal of liver. Ectomy means removal. Hepatectomy. You remove appendix, what do you call it? Remove appendix. Appendicectomy. Remove stomach. Removal of stomach. What do you call it? Removal of stomach is a treatment. It is a treatment for what? Removal of stomach is a treatment for morbid obesity. Somebody has morbid obesity, cannot control eating, remove stomach. No storage, eat no. It's very painful. Not the removal procedure, but it is very painful for the person to accept that he has got no stomach. He cannot stomach it. Okay, now how is the blood sugar level and liver connected? When I eat, sugar enters the blood. So blood sugar level during post eating is done by absorption from the food, absorption from the digested carbohydrates. But within 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours after eating, the blood sugar level will fall. Why? Not fall below baseline level. It comes down to normal reference level, about 80 to 100 to 120. By within 120 to 140, it comes down. This is called postprandial blood sugar. Within 2 hours, it will get stabilized. Within another hour of that, it gets stabilized. So if you eat breakfast at 8:30 in the morning, you eat breakfast at 8:30 in the morning. It's not a heavy breakfast. The amount of glucose that you get is limited. You eat bread and butter. Gets digested. Bread has got nothing. It has maida completely, no digestion also properly. So technically, whatever you ate for breakfast would be digested, absorbed, and taken out of circulation by around 11 o'clock. 11 to 12:30, by the time you get to eat your lunch, 1.5 hours, your blood glucose level has to be maintained. Now, it cannot be maintained from what you have eaten. It has to be maintained from removing it from storage. Who will stimulate the removal of glucose from storage? Who will make it happen? Glucagon will stimulate the removal of glucose from storage and makes it available for utilization. From that time, whatever you ate got sequestered or pushed into compartments by the influence of insulin. Now, where is this glucagon getting the glucose from? The biggest store of glycogen is your, if you consider surface area to glycogen storage, the biggest store is liver. Liver is the major source of glycogen storage. So interval glucose level maintenance is done by removing the stored glycogen from liver and breaking it down to glucose and making it available for the cells to utilize. If you remove liver, the immediate availability of glucose by way of breaking down glycogen stored in the liver is not happening, will not happen. Now, where else is the storage of glucose in the form of glycogen? Where else glycogen is stored? Skeletal muscles. Will the skeletal muscles give it? Will the skeletal muscles give it? It will not give it. Skeletal muscles is keeping it for its own activity. Whenever the skeletal muscle has to act and the supply of glucose available in the blood is not enough, it needs more energy, it will break down its stores and use it. So skeletal muscle will not give it. It is like you are having your regular income for your household expenses. Some of it goes into storage, into the kitchen bank and into the deposit, let us say fixed deposit in bank. So if your income, if the income that you have, if your salary is not enough to manage the expenses for the month and you need to break the storage, where will you remove it from first? Will you remove it from the bank deposit or will you take it out from the kitchen storage? Kitchen storage, no? If your father tells that he does not have the money for your some expense, which account will you tap? Which account will you tap for money? Mother. Mother is the bank of the house. She will have some storage somewhere. Nobody knows where the locker is. So, if that is also empty, if whatever your mother has kept is also emptied, will you want to break the fixed deposit in the bank for managing the monthly expense? You will not do that unless it is a crisis. You will somehow manage with deficiency only. You might cut short on one meal, you might push some expenditure which for the next month, or you will completely give up on some other expenditure. Somehow you will manage, but you will not go and break the deposit. Like this, storage in the body is also like that. Glycogen in the liver is available for utilization. When the blood glucose is not enough, glycogen in the liver is broken down. It's like kitchen of the body. Money is taken from there, utilized, and whenever there is excess, it is put there. Easy, no? When you have excess, put it in the kitchen locker. If liver is removed, blood glucose level can fall rapidly. Okay? Then body will have to utilize stored fat for energy needs. That is a more difficult process to do. That is why it is easy to put on weight and difficult to lose weight. The adipose tissue resists giving up their fat. Storage, no? Bank. Nobody would like to break deposit. Nature also doesn't like to break deposit. Deposit is for future crisis. Unless what you need for today is for a crisis, it will not give it to you. But excess, whenever there is excess, nature is very good in savings. When there is excess, nature will push it into savings immediately. Breaking is difficult. You have to establish to nature that you have a crisis by constantly giving the body a calorie deficit. Anyways, that's not the point. Statement A is right. Statement B, that is also correct. Principal source of blood glucose. Next. What do you call it? What do you refer the breakdown of glycogen into glucose as? What is the reference for that? What is the term for breaking down glycogen to produce glucose? Glycogenolysis. Lysis means breakdown. What is it when you break down lipids for glucose? Lipolysis. Okay. When you produce glycogen from glucose, glycogenesis. When you produce glucose from non-glycogen sources like lipids and proteins, you break down lipids or you break down proteins and produce glucose. Gluconeogenesis. Gluconeogenesis. Okay. It's like you are depositing money into the bank, you are withdrawing money from the bank. That is glycogenesis, glycogenolysis. You are selling gold to get cash. That is gluconeogenesis. Cash is glucose. Okay. Non-currency sources being utilized for making currency. That is neogenesis. Of course, that gold also came by giving money only. But still, it is not the money storage. It has transformed into some other form. Chemical nature of hormones secreted by alpha and delta cells of the pancreas is. What are they? Alpha cells is what? Glucagon. Delta cells is somatostatin. Both are peptides. Hello. Second है ना? ठीक है, अंदर जाके ऑफिस में आप बोलिए. Both are polypeptide. Beta cells produce insulin. Which of the following hormones stimulate the secretion of milk from females? Stimulate the secretion. Now, should we consider secretion as equivalent to production, or should we consider secretion as equivalent to release? Is it secretion from the gland or secretion outside of the gland? With mammary glands, release of milk from the mammary gland into the duct is always referred to as ejection. So when a question comes with reference to something as secretion, consider it as production. Okay? Consider it as production. So now tell me, what is the right choice? LH, prolactin, oxytocin, progesterone. What is it? Prolactin. What do you call milk production as technically? Not lactation. Lactation is production and release of milk in response to the demand by the dairy. Just production of milk. What is it called? Now, at this stage it has to be common sense. You have to just cook up the word even if you don't remember it. Milk production. Lipid production. What do you call it? What do you call lipid production from glucose? What do you call glycogen production from glucose? What have we discussed it? Now, right now. Huh? Glycogenesis, lipogenesis. What is milk production? What is milk production? Please don't make it milkogenesis. What is milk production? Lactogenesis, that's all. Lactogenesis. This common sense approach will make you pass every exam in your MBBS. If you go with the approach that you will know everything and pass the exam, you will not write even one exam. Alright? Everybody who writes every paper will go with the feeling that they are failing this paper. Alright. So you have to learn to back yourself up. You have to learn to cook up things. If you know one word of something, you should learn to write one paragraph of it. It's all the game of communication, and even bigger success is your ability to communicate in a way that people believe. And if you have facts and figures to back it up, you will have excellence. That's all. If you don't have facts and figures to back up your expression, very soon you will be busted. And you will not be taken seriously. We should come up, keep bringing out some logic. You are all much better compared to what you were 8 months ago. But lot more. Keep working on that. It's a lifetime effort. Mr. John falls from a scooter and suffers a hairline fracture in the wrist. Which bones are involved? John, scooter, all of that doesn't matter. It is a question of hairline fracture of the wrist involves what bones. Correct? They could have given a case history also. 2 paragraphs. Which bones are involved? Tarsals, metatarsals, carpals, metacarpals. Wrist bone is here. What do we have? Carpals. Metacarpals are here. These are phalanges. How many carpals are there? 8 carpals. How many tarsals are there? 7 tarsals. Does that mean the number of bones in one upper limb is more than the number of bones in one lower limb? No. This is 8. The corresponding portion of the lower limb has 7 bones. That means lower limb should have 1 extra bone somewhere. Yes. Compensate. Which is that extra bone? Yeah. Patella, kneecap. Alright. In Karnataka, Patella is a reference to the village headman. In some of the places, the head of the village is referred to as Patella. Okay. So Patella as a term would be funny for people who knows that. Out of 7 cervical vertebrae in humans, which set represents atypical cervical vertebrae? Atypical cervical vertebrae. Why? What do you mean by atypical cervical vertebrae? Vertebrae which have additional processes or additional structures other than the regular ones. The regular vertebrae have all body and the processes which will support the joints as well as extension of the passage for the nerves to come in and go out of the vertebrae. 1 to 7 have additional processes. 1 has to form a joint with the skull base. 2 has to form a special odontoid process. It has to create a unique joint with the first vertebrae. So to allow that, the first vertebrae also, atlas is also modified. Atlas is also modified. Alright, it's called the odontoid process. C7 vertebrae has long spinous process. All other vertebrae have the normal shape. This is also a bit more than what is necessary for you. Male scrotum is longer than broader and is heavier. Its male sacrum is longer than broader and is heavier. Its sacral index is. Sacral index is width of the sacrum over length of the sacrum into 100. That is the sacral index. Okay. Who should have broader sacrum? Is it males or females? Females should have broader sacrum because it will contribute to increasing the size of the pelvis. Increasing the size of the pelvis because females have the physiological role of allowing growth of the baby and delivery of the baby. So males have more longer sacrum than it being broader. Width is in the numerator. Width of the sacrum is in the numerator in the sacral index. So if it is more wider, sacral index will be more. Sacral index will be more. So sacral index of males, it would be what compared to females? It will be lesser compared to females. That's all. Given below is a pedigree chart of a family with 5 children. It shows the inheritance of attached earlobes as opposed to free ones. It shows the inheritance of attached earlobes as opposed to the free ones. The squares represents the male individuals and circles the female individuals. Which one of the following conclusions drawn is correct? Now, which one is dominant? Which one is dominant in this? Attached earlobes or free earlobes is dominant? Which one is dominant? Attached or free? No. Free earlobes are dominant. That is all you have to know. You should know that free earlobes is the dominant character. Attached earlobes is the recessive character. See, in human beings, just look around for people, common sense. Do more people have free earlobes or attached earlobes? This is attached only. Okay, we cannot have free earlobes just hanging like a fruit from the skull. This one, the tip. Have you seen some people where you don't have this part free? This will be attached here completely like this. Have you seen that? Okay. That is free only. That is free only. Who had attached earlobe? Anybody with attached earlobe? You have attached earlobe. Come here, come here. So that is the recessive trait. Fortunately or unfortunately, he has been the subject for many on-stage demonstrations. See? See this? This. Okay? During lunch break, you can all pull and see. Systole is free earlobe. Free earlobe is dominant. Recessive characters are not shown much. Alright. Anybody else has attached earlobe in your family? Don't ever notice it only. Alright. Now observe the pedigree chart. Parents do not have the character. Children have character. Both of them, male and female, both of them are showing the character. Do you recall the rules that I have given you for pedigree chart analysis? If daughter is affected and father is not affected, it cannot be sex-linked inheritance. If daughter is affected but father is not affected, it cannot be sex-linked inheritance. Similarly, if mother is affected and sons are not affected, that also cannot be sex-linked inheritance. Both dominant or recessive. That means if a female is affected and if that is X-linked recessive, then the male of generation before and the generation after should be affected. Okay? Now look at this. Daughter is affected, but father is not affected. Meaning, it is not X-linked. The son is affected, or children are affected, mother, male and female, children are affected, but parents are not affected. Meaning, it is not dominant. It is not okay, what is the square? So attached earlobe is this one, marked one. So in this, even if you don't know whether attached earlobe is recessive or free earlobe is recessive, by looking at this you can tell. Attached earlobe is marked there, shaded there. Parents are not affected. That means attached earlobe is not recessive. It is not dominant. It is not a dominant trait. If it is dominant, whether it is homozygous or heterozygous, if the allele is present, it should be expressed. Parents are not affected, children are affected. It is not a dominant character. Neither autosomal dominant nor sex-linked dominant. Now, so this is a recessive trait. Parents are not affected, it is not sex-linked, it is autosomal, recessive. Parents are not affected, so both and children are affected. So children should be getting one recessive allele from the father, one recessive allele from the mother. That means what? Both the parents are heterozygous. Both the parents are heterozygous. That is the conclusion. The parents are heterozygous. Given below is a representation of a kind of chromosomal mutation. What type of mutation is represented? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. What is this mutation? What is this mutation? Inversion. Deletion means something is removed. Duplication means something gets added as a copy of it. It's an extra copy. Inversion is reversal. Now B has gone to the place of D. D has gone to the place of B. That is inversion. Reciprocal translocation is what? Can we say this is reciprocal translocation also? Instead of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, it would have cut and inverse and attached there, reciprocal. H, G, F would have been reciprocal translocation. This can still be called reciprocal, B, C, D, it can be cut and it is like inverted and position. But inversion is better here. Alright. Reciprocal translocation is, for reciprocal translocation you need two segments, two chromosomes. One component, between non-homologous chromosomes. See, between homologous chromosomes, if segments are exchanged, what do you call it? If segments are exchanged between homologous chromosomes, what do you call it? You call it crossing over. If segments are exchanged between non-homologous chromosomes, that is reciprocal translocation. So reciprocal translocation is abnormal. Crossing over is normal. Okay. The mechanism is the same between reciprocal translocation and crossing over. In crossing over, it will not lead to any abnormality because the exchange of segments is happening between homologous chromosomes. So the gene sequence will remain the same. It will only lead to variation. In reciprocal translocation, these segments are exchanged between non-homologous chromosomes, leading to possible abnormalities. There might be abnormalities, may not be also, depending on what is the segment that is affected. Good questions are there. Which one of the following pairs of geographical areas show maximum biodiversity in our country? Sundarbans and Run of Kutch. Run of Kutch is desert now. So Sundarbans is still a forest, but Run of Kutch is desert, so biodiversity is low in that. Eastern Ghats and West Bengal. Eastern Ghats still okay, but West Bengal also is diverse, but let's see the other options. Eastern Himalayas and Western Ghats. Eastern Himalaya and Western Ghats both are biodiversity hotspots. Because they are biodiversity hotspots, they are the ones which have highest diversity. Kerala and Punjab. Kerala is moist, Punjab is dry in this. Which are the 4 biodiversity hotspots of India? Eastern Himalayas, Western Ghats, Indo-Burma region and Indo-Sinhalese region, Sri Lanka, in the Indian subcontinent. These are the 4 hotspots. One of the ex situ conservation methods for endangered species is wildlife ex situ conservation. Ex situ means what? Outside of the natural habitat. Outside of the natural habitat. Ex situ. Which of these? Wildlife sanctuary is ex situ? No. Cryopreservation. Straightforward. In India, we find mangoes with different flavors, colors, fiber content, sugar content, and shelf life. The large variation, water bodies, water sources, underground water, everything. So, soil and water. If we focus on this as a population, everybody focuses on improving soil health. Everybody focuses on conservation of water and growing trees. These 3 should be done by everybody. It is beyond the capacity of the government to revive these 3 things. Everybody should focus. Not a single harmful substance goes into the soil. Everybody pledges that. Everybody tries to nurture plants and trees. Everybody tries to be sensitive to water. Only then things can be arrested. I don't know about reversal, but arresting further degradation is necessary. The carnivorous fish, Gambusia, which is introduced in lakes and ponds to control a deadly disease in India, feeds on the larvae of, larvae of Anopheles, Gambusia fish. Gambusia fish is also referred to as what common name? Guppy fish. Guppy fish. Quill feathers at the base of wings are called coverts, remiges, down feathers, barbules. Apparently remiges. They are the primary and secondary feathers involved in flight. Coverts are those small feathers which cover the base of these big feathers. Down feathers are for insulation, not for flight. Barbules are tiny structures within the feathers. So 3 function for feathers in birds: flight, insulation, waterproofing. flight, insulation and waterproofing. You can remember these three as a functional utility of the feathers instead of remembering the types of feathers that are there in birds. Sporogony of the malarial parasite occurs in sporogony. Where is sporogony happening? Sporogony is asexual reproduction. The spores are produced. Where is it happening? In the stomach of the stomach. In the stomach of the mosquito. In the stomach of the mosquito. While dissecting a rat, which side should you face? Should face you. Huh? So, think about it and give me a commonsensical, logical answer. Which side of the rat should face you when you are dissecting? Okay, while dissecting a human being, which side should face you? The front. Front is called, in technical terms, ventral part. That's all. You put the body on the back and dissect it where the ventral part faces you. Why do you have to do that? You gain better access to the internal organs and it is easier to dissect. The dorsal part has, in mammals, rat is a mammal, no? The dorsal part has spine. Dissection of the spine is difficult. And you will have to break open a lot of things to access the internal organs. Anterior or ventral part is easier. Why should you not consider the anterior side? In your body, what is anterior? In your body, what is anterior? What is anterior in your body? No. This is not. What is anterior? Imagine yourself, or don't imagine yourself, just visualize a dog. Okay? Visualize a dog. What is anterior in a dog? Face is anterior. Okay. Tail is posterior. The underbelly is ventral part. The back is dorsal part. Sides are lateral. That's all. Whatever is closer to the central axis is proximal. Away from the central axis is distal. That's all. These are the references. And these are all standard references. In whichever country you talk about it, it's the same. Cumulus oophorus covers what? Cumulus oophorus is a cluster of cells around the ovum. Cumulus oophorus, granulosa cells around the ovum. Covers the ovum, not the ovary or the embryo. An oocyte is released from the ovary under the influence of LH after completing meiosis and before polar bodies are released. After completing meiosis 1 and before the release of polar bodies. After completing meiosis 1 and after the release of polar bodies. When does ovulation occur? Meiosis 1 is completed and in meiosis 2 the cell will be in metaphase 2 stage. That is the phase where the ovulation happens. Okay? Meiosis 1 is completed. That is, it's already in the resting phase. See, does meiosis 1 complete during the menstrual cycle or it is already completed before birth? Is meiosis 1 already completed? It completes after the ovulation, after the stimulation by the FSH. In what stage do you have the ovum? In the follicle. Within the follicle, in what stage is the ovum? Tell me the stages of ovulation, oogenesis. The first is primary oogonia, then growth happens. You have primary oocyte. Primary oocyte becomes, after meiosis 1 it becomes secondary oocyte. After fertilization, secondary oocyte becomes ovum. Secondary oocyte becomes ovum. Correct? First resting phase is at the primary oocyte stage. In the follicle, the ovum will be in the primary oocyte stage. When the FSH is stimulated, when FSH stimulates the growth, primary oocyte becomes secondary oocyte. Meiosis 1 is completed. Then you have a short period of resting before the secondary oocyte is initiated into further division, if at all fertilization happens. Okay. The phase of the menstrual cycle that lasts for 7 to 8 days is follicular phase, ovulatory phase, luteal phase, menstruation. Now this is an incomplete question. We have to make some assumption here. What is the assumption that we have to make? We have to make the assumption that the cycle is of 28 days. Unless otherwise specified, whenever questions related to menstrual cycle comes and you have to make a decision on what is the duration of the cycle, consider it to be 28 days for calculation purposes. But you know, in reality, 28 days is just for calculation, it is variable. It is variable from person to person. Just make note of whatever I will give you now, which will summarize menstrual cycle and all its changes. Inside, I will mention the ovulatory changes. Outside of the circle, I will mention the uterine changes. Okay. Okay, so this will be 14, this will be 7, this will be 3.5, this will be. This is shedding phase. So during the shedding phase, nothing is happening in the ovary. Ovary is quiet. Ovary is quiet. So this is shedding or menstrual phase. Shedding or menstrual phase. No hormonal action. No hormones are there yet. So this phase is silent. This is about this. You can consider this as 0 to 5 days. So it is about 3 to 5 days will be the period of shedding or bleeding. This is inside the ovary. What is happening? Follicle is developing. So we call it follicular phase. Follicular phase. In uterus, it is proliferation of the endometrium. So we call it proliferative phase. Proliferative phase. Alright. Now this is day 14. Ovulation. Ovulation. This entire phase is luteal phase. So there are only two phases inside the ovary. There is follicular phase and luteal phase. In follicular phase, there is influence of FSH. In luteal phase, there is influence of LH. At the peak of LH secretion, there is ovulation. At the peak of LH secretion, there is ovulation. So if you talk about it from the ovary point of view, you have follicular phase, ovulation and luteal phase. From the uterus point of view, you have menstrual phase, proliferative phase and secretory phase. Under the influence of LH, you have secretory phase. Here, hormones, if you look at it, in the proliferative phase, you will have, which is the hormone? FSH, and almost in the mid-proliferative phase, till the end of proliferative phase, you will have estrogen. Here, in the secretory phase, you will have LH to a certain extent on the uterus, and post-ovulation till about 4 days before this thing, you have progesterone. You see that? So which is the first hormone to influence the uterus? Which is the first hormone to influence the uterus? FSH. Then, while FSH action is still going on, another hormone starts getting produced, which is estrogen. The maturing follicle, granulosa cells of the follicle will produce estrogen. And as estrogen, as LH starts getting produced, see this one still goes further a little bit into the luteal phase also. Estrogen goes into the luteal phase also to a while, to a certain extent. So there is overlapping, you see. It is not one after the other. It is not one after the other. FSH, there is a period when FSH and estrogen are being produced together. FSH is going down, estrogen is picking up. Then estrogen continues to get produced and LH begins. Estrogen is going down, LH is picking up, peaking. Then parallelly, after ovulation, progesterone is getting secreted. At some point, LH stops, progesterone continues to be produced for a while. About 4 days before the next commencement of the next bleeding, progesterone also stops. So this is the phase when no hormone is active. In the menstrual cycle, if you notice, 4 days before the beginning of the cycle and for about 4 to 5 days after the beginning of the cycle, that is during the bleeding phase, no hormone is active here. Do you understand? There is no major hormonal influence. So in a 28-day cycle, hormones are acting for about 20 days. For about 20 days. In that, which hormone is influencing things for a longer period? You can consider everybody is working for about 7 to 8 days. Okay? Here, for about 7 to 8 days, FSH is working. Then, it takes about 2 to 3 days for estrogen to begin. That also works for about 7 to 8 days. Around 12th day, around 10 to 12th day, LH begins. That also works for about 7 to 8 days. Around the ovulation time, after ovulation, progesterone is produced. That works for about 8 to 10 days. That works for about 10 days, waiting for implantation to occur. So if you look at it, the longest acting hormone on the uterus is progesterone. Progesterone acts for a longer period of time. Okay. And no hormone for about 8 days. Is it clear, everybody? So this will help you make your logic for answering questions related to menstrual cycle. If you arrange the same 4 options, 174, question number 174, in the order of length of the phase, in the increasing order of length, duration of each phase, which one will be the least? Which one will be the least? Ovulatory phase, then menstrual phase, then follicular phase, and longest will be luteal phase. Very good. How many days luteal phase lasts? In this? 14 days. Luteal phase lasts for about 14 days. How many ever times I teach this, every time it is so amazing. It's such micro level precision. Every life, whether it is human beings or the insect outside, such intricately happening processes. Beautiful. Alright. Life itself is a miracle. Amazing. So see this, it's happening in such precision. They're all small cells. And it has been designed in such amazing ways. All that we have to ensure is supply the body with the right kind of food. That's all. Everything else body will take care. We don't do that much also. And we go and tell God, why God, you are doing this, you are doing that. Imagine the kind of irritation God might have if God were to be like human beings. Every day we would have been slapped if God were like human beings, no? For all the nonsense that we take to God. Women who consumed the drug thalidomide during pregnancy gave birth to children with. Thalidomide causes phocomelia, limb malformations. Okay, so it can be underdeveloped limbs. What do you call these? Chemicals or anything that will interfere with intrauterine development? Teratogens. Okay, teratogens are those which will interfere with intrauterine development of the baby. Whatever process was interfered with, it cannot be, it cannot be completed, or you cannot start from where it was stopped when you withdraw the teratogen. Intrauterine development, you should know, is time bound. What should happen on 10th day will happen on 10th day. If it did not happen on 10th day because something was obstructing it, it will not happen on the 11th day. On the 11th day, what is supposed to happen on the 11th day will happen. So what did not happen on the 10th day will remain as such. It will remain as a defect. That is why the entire duration of pregnancy, it is very, very important to ensure that nothing goes into the body without the advice of the doctor. Only that which the doctor says is safe should go into the body. Nothing else, because teratogenic influence will cause permanent abnormalities for the baby. 9 months of regulation is necessary to ensure that the baby survives 90 years without anything without any abnormality which could have been avoided. What cannot be avoided? Nobody can do anything. But careless mother can lead to a lifetime of distress for the baby. Okay. Sexually transmitted diseases caused by viruses include genital warts, genital herpes, syphilis, both A and B. Genital warts and herpes. Genital warts is produced by what? Which is the virus? HPV. What is HPV? Human papilloma virus. Genital herpes is caused by HSV. Human herpes simplex virus. Syphilis is caused by Treponema pallidum. Syphilis is caused by Treponema pallidum. Drug AZT. AZT is zidovudine. Functions by inhibiting the replication of viral nucleic acid, blocking the production of envelope proteins, blocking the production of capsid proteins, blocking virus binding to human cell receptors. See, all the four are mechanisms by which you prevent viral infections. You can inhibit the replication of nucleic acid, you can block the production of envelope proteins, block the production of capsid proteins, you can block the virus binding to human cell receptors. Which of these four is done naturally? The same four options, which of these four is done naturally? And who is the one who does that? Which of the four options, among the four options given, one of that is a natural defense against virus. Blocking of virus binding to human cell receptors. Who does that? Interferon. Who produces interferons? The martyr cell. The cell which died because of virus infection. Martyr. Tukaram Omble. Who is that? Tukaram Omble. He is the constable who captured Kasab in Mumbai attack. So the only survivor among the terrorists was this fellow, Ajmal Kasab. And Tukaram Omble captured him. And he disarmed, Tukaram Omble was being shot when he was holding him. So he died, Tukaram Omble died. But he captured Kasab alive. So Tukaram Omble is like the interferon producing virus infected cell. Okay. Martyrdom. Zidovudine is a drug which is used for HIV treatment of HIV. Zidovudine is a reverse transcriptase inhibitor. It inhibits reverse transcription. It inhibits the reverse transcriptase enzyme. So it's an antiretroviral drug. Is it effective? Not entirely. Not entirely. Lysis of foreign cells is mediated through lysis of foreign cells. Lysis means breakdown, destruction, breakdown. So IgM and IgG, IgA, IgD and IgE. See, there are two mechanisms by which the foreign cells are destroyed. It is complement mediated. Complements, I told you, complement proteins are there. Complement proteins are produced by these IgM molecules. IgM molecules are the ones which will chop off or cut off or puncture or eat away or anything. Macrophages also can eat away these foreign cells, eat away the foreign cells. But you consider it like this. Those of you who eat meat, alright, those of you who eat meat, if I give you uncooked chicken, will you eat it? You don't eat it. Uncooked chicken. Macrophages also don't eat unprepared foreign cells. So what do you do to eat chicken? You put spices, you process it, you make it flavorful. Macrophages also should be made. Macrophages also need the foreign cells to be made flavorful for them to eat it. And that adding flavor to the foreign cells is called opsonization. Opsonization. And who does it? IgG. IgG makes the foreign cells tasty for the macrophages to eat. So macrophages will eat and break down the cells. So IgG contributes to it. IgM, complement cascade. Take the protein and chop it off directly. IgM is like a physical warrior. IgM has how many valency? What is the valency of IgM for antigens? 5. Pentavalent. It can catch hold of 5 cells and chop off them simultaneously. It is like Bahubali, no? Bahubali kills 100 people on the bridge. Is it Bahubali or Magadira? It's in Magadira. You have watched all Telugu movies. This fellow knows all Telugu movies in Hindi. It's Magadira. In his previous birth, he fought 100 people on the bridge. So IgM is like Magadira. More and more foreign bodies, the more rage it develops. Just as Xenopsilla is to Yersinia pestis, so is if 2 is to 3, so is 4 is to 5. These as to questions in primary school mathematics when you learn ratio and proportion. If 2 is to 3 is as to 4 is to 6. Xenopsilla is to Yersinia pestis, so is what is to what? Xenopsilla is the pathogen cause. Xenopsilla is the vector for Yersinia pestis. Okay. Xenopsilla is the vector for Yersinia pestis. Yersinia pestis causes what? Yersinia pestis causes plague. Plague. Alright. It causes plague in which animals? Plague affected who? Plague affected who? Plague was an epidemic. India had witnessed plague epidemic. People would die. No. Rats. Dead rats have to be buried or they have to be burned. Dead rats are the carriers of, rats can be infected with Yersinia pestis, which can cause plague. And the vector for that is Xenopsilla, which is a problem. Okay? Don't try to do too much. Don't try to cover everything. It is not possible. Narrow down. Decide what is it that you have to master. Alright? Your linear notes, the notes where you have done glossary, your perspective notes. Quickly revise your perspective notes multiple times, all 3 subjects. Paper 1 to 12. In 1 to 12 also you can exclude the questions which are out of syllabus. So that will bring down the questions to less than 30%. I mean, it will reduce the questions by about 15 to 20%. 1 to 12, 51 to 68 or 57 to 68. Okay? 51 to 60, 57 to 62. Complete analysis also as you go on. With every paper, you complete the analysis then and there. Alright, every paper. 57 to 62, complete the analysis then and there. 1 to 12, you should complete revision. Paper number 1 to 12, complete the revision. All the concepts. Your perspective notes, complete revision. 57 to 62, complete the analysis by this month end as you complete the papers. And 63 to 68 papers that you take for practice are your actual practice papers. Analyze that also. Just stick to this much. Okay? I'm telling you, please stick to this much. Don't expand too much. Don't try to do 30 years papers, 40 years papers. No. Bring it down, bring it down. From now on for the next 45 days, revision, 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 revision. More revision of the strategically determined portions. no new learning. Any new learning that happens which should be based on the papers that you have attempted or you will attempt. Don't bother to touch paper number 13 to 15. Don't touch it. If you have done analysis, if you have added points to your notes, excellent, do that. If you have made your retrospective notes, browse that. Keep browsing that also. Alright, stick to this much. Lord do well. Okay, narrow it. Narrow it. Not doing too much is the key. Not doing too much is the key, I'm telling you. Alright. In this period, a lot of students, see, I will not name the institution, but one girl had called me for counseling last week. She is a repeater. She has studied in Bangalore. Throughout, she has had got good education, good teachers. In her first attempt last year, she had scored 220. That was the score. She took a year's break, joined the best institute in the country. Okay, that is such a ridiculous thing happening. More than 90% of the people who join the so-called best institutions of the country are failing. Not failing to get a medical seat. They are failing in life because their self-image is being destroyed. You are constantly being told that what you are getting is the best in the country. You will not find a better institution. You will not find better teachers. If you make a list of top 10 teachers in the country, on what basis? What is the parameter on which you determine somebody is better and best? God only knows. You have been given all the facilities. You have got the best material. You have got the best notes. You have got the best test series. In spite of getting everything that is the best, and you don't do well, what is the subconscious message that a student takes in? What is the subconscious message? Forget subconscious messaging. It is told on their faces. In spite of all this, if you are not able to do, you are useless. Even if it is not told, isn't what that goes into the mind of an individual? I got everything that is the best. And parents are spending loads of money, constant that financial pressure, the pressure on the mind of the student that if I don't perform, all of this will go waste. If it goes waste, our financial status will go down further. Where are we going? So I was telling you about this girl. One whole year she has gone to the classes, repeaters batch in the so-called ABCD institution. Alright. They are still doing chapter by chapter. They have gone chapter by chapter, test chapter by chapter. They have still not yet started full-length papers. I asked her, when are you supposed to take full-length papers? We will be given one full-length paper every day, starting from 1st of April till 30th of April. One paper every day for 30 days. I can give you 10 hours of reasoning, proving logically and scientifically that this is the worst thing to do. Somebody who has mastered everything will feel good about it. Every paper will make him or her feel that okay, I'm touching 600, touching 650, touching 670, 680. Just push a little bit more. For an average student, the first 4 or 5 papers will tell him that you are not fit for doing this. All the practice should be completed 1 month before the actual exam, and that 1 month before the exam, whatever 45 days that you have for the exam now, is the time for a relaxed, focused revision and to stay in touch with the flow of taking the test. April month, only 5 tests. 5 or 6 tests you take, 1 in 6 days, just to keep up with the pace. And the rest of the time is for revision. No new learning. Alright? Even if you are down now, Some of you have seen 300, 350s, 300, 350ish. Some of you have hit 400, 450, 500, 550 and all, and coming back to 350, 400. No problem. Do this much for the next 45 days. All of you will still cross by NEET, irrespective of where you are right now. You have to trust the process that you have been taken through for the last 8-9 months. You have been taken through a process which is transformative. You are all ready to cross those examination barriers. Limit, stick to this much. Your own notes, whatever retrospective notes you have built, and mastering 1 to 12, 51 to 68, or at least 57 to 68, this much. Alright, these 51 to 56 papers are also good papers, excluding the out of syllabus questions that are creeped in. Good questions are there. So 51 to 68, 1 to 12, 30 papers. That itself is good material. Good material. Alright, will you do that? Yes?
Yes, sir.
And whatever happens in the exam, let it happen. We are ready for it. Alright. Do your preparation not with an expectation of doing well in the exam. Do your preparation because this last 45 days is your best opportunity to be as well prepared as possible. But on the day of examination, pray that it will all fall into place. Alright, your health, your focus, your attention, your anxiety, your mind, your state of mind, and the momentary recall that you will have to get for every question to come to right conclusions. When in doubt, you are caught up between two options. If it is a good day, you will strike the right option. If it is a bad day, you will strike the wrong option. Hasn't it happened? And just outside of the examination hall, it will strike you only. It will come to your mind that, oh, this was the right option. Why did that, nobody told you, why did that logic appear in the examination hall? So, in spite of all the preparation, be aware that what should happen in the examination hall will happen. What is supposed to happen is what will happen. Alright? But what preparation and what process all of you have gone through for the last 8 months, this is beyond the NEET. This is beyond the NEET. If you understand this and if you continue to apply the principles that you have been trained on, transformation of yourself into powerful individuals cannot be stopped. Success for you in whatever you do in life cannot be prevented. But what you are supposed to be, what you are supposed to do is all determined by different powers. It is not your decision. Alright? How well you can transform yourself, that is your power. That is the power you have. Alright? That is human dimension. What you are supposed to be doing is divine. Alright? I have hundreds of examples in my own personal life. When you reach the end of what you think you can do, something opens up, and that is what you are supposed to do. Until you do everything that is possible within your capacity to the best of your ability, and until you reach the point where you feel nothing more is possible from me, and that moment when surrender comes, something opens up, and that is what you are supposed to do. You cannot find out what you are supposed to do until you do everything that is possible within your capacity according to your own judgment. Okay. So that is what I have trained you on in all these months. Okay. One example I will tell you. I will not give you my life examples. They are different kind of examples. All right. My wife wanted to prepare for her PG, MD medical entrance. NEET PG. So she went to a place called Kottayam in Kerala. That is the place where most of the people in the south go and study. Good institution is there. It's a good ecosystem. Everybody is preparing for that. Her preparation was going on very well. She wanted to get into general medicine or I think obstetrics and gynecology, pediatrics. These were her options. Her preparation was going on very well. before, when we decided to go there, we saw where she has to stay, and while we were coming back, the train that we were coming in got derailed. We were in a derailed train. Nothing happened to us, but the train derailed. And no man, don't go there. Something is trying to stop you from going there. Okay, no, we did not link that. She planned to go. The day when she was supposed to go, her father developed some neurological infection. So it got delayed by 2 weeks. Got treated. She went. 4 months preparation went on amazingly well. She was in a very good flow. 12 to 14 hours of preparation every day. She was doing very well in all her tests. She developed pancreatitis. So it was near life-threatening. She had to come from there. So she had to undergo a surgery and all that. So many things happened. 2-3 months was cut off. 2 months before the exam, she could put through a lot of preparation, whatever was possible. She gave the exam. And she had to take MD Community Medicine, PSM. So she did community medicine, she did very well there, she became the university topper and all of that happened. But she was unhappy. She wanted to do general medicine, she did community medicine. Now, when she finished, it was COVID. Some way she had an opportunity to get into the core team of a health tech company for developing their medical division. This health tech company was started by the co-founder of Go Ibibo. He had at the same time quit Go Ibibo, exited from Go Ibibo and started the health tech company. So she got into that. 4 years, 5 years now. She is a part of a founding team of this company called EkaCare. She has been featured in Business Asia magazine as one of the top 10 women-founded health tech companies. Alright. She is heading medical affairs in the company now. This is a funded company. Now, the work she is doing is getting collaborated. The company where she is leading a major division, and their company is collaborating with Bill Gates and Melinda Foundation for developing a particular technology. Could she plan this? Now, if you go back and look at the entire journey, everything appears like was designed to come here. Understand? So, you have, why am I telling you this? You have done your best. The next 45 days, trust my advice. Okay? Do only that, what I am telling you to do. Stick to that. Give your best shot. It might work out, it might not work out. Alright? But almost always it has worked out. When I have told you, when I have told something very clearly that this is, do this, it works out. Almost 100% of the time. Do that. And at the end of it also, if something is not according to what you wanted, don't bother, continue to become stronger. Things will all be good. Alright? So you are not here just by accident. There were 350 applications that I went through. There were 350 applications. Alright? So, 120 people were interviewed. I have interviewed each one of you. Alright? 120 people were interviewed, and you are all here for whatever reason. It is beyond our intellectual capacity to understand that. Alright? So, all the best. Keep working, keep working. Only thing I'll tell you is be with me in the Rebuild India journey. That's all. That is all I expect. Let us all together rebuild India. Alright? All the best. Keep working. Next month I will be coming twice. Once during the regular visit, and the last week I will be here. 30th or 1st of May I will come here, and after celebrations with all of you. Celebration is for completing the exam, giving our best. Celebration is not for the result. Post results, hopefully, we all will be a part of the celebration with the Chief Minister. Okay, give your best. Let's see what happens. Whatever is destined will happen. But we will not leave even the smallest of thing that is possible within our capacity. Alright, let's do all that, and great. See you all then. See you all next week, next month. Bye bye. So continue to study for the next 20-30 minutes, and then you break for lunch. Okay? See you all. Bye bye.